Now, let us read the final section of the final chapter of Roar the Ganges. I think tomorrow we might read just a little bit more. We might read the foreword, or the afterword, some further information about the author. But we'll end the final chapter right now. And let us read so Sky can sleep in peace. Yes, indeed. This goes out to you. As our Guru, Swami Dayananda climbed into the white ambassador that would take him to New Delhi, everyone in the ashram crowded around the car to say goodbye. He waved as his car sped out through the gate, its horn blaring to scatter some children playing in the lane outside. Those left behind remained in a cluster, talking about how they would miss Swami Dayananda's astute teaching and silly jokes. Classes at the ashram would continue, of course, deftly taught by Swami Prakash. Vijay pulled me aside and asked, "So, what is your program now?" "Well, I have a few weeks left before my flight back to the States, so I had planned to visit the Coimbatore ashram. I leave by train in a couple days." "I am having one plan," Vijay said with an impish grin. "Why not I go with you? We can be stopping at important temples and pilgrimage centers along the way to Coimbatore." Vijay quickly sketched out an itinerary, laying plans for yet another spiritual adventure. I had previously gone on many such trips with Vijay and others. Each journey was as exhausting as it was exhilarating. Without hesitation, I agreed to Vijay's proposal. I had never been very fond of traveling, and travel in India can be particularly exasperating. Trains can be so irregular that timetables serve only to calculate how late the trains are. Long rides on crowded, dilapidated buses with worn shock absorbers is tortuous, especially on overnight trips. Every journey is subject to a variety of obstacles: broken down buses, mountain roads blocked by landslides, railway tracks blocked by derailments, ticket offices, and even entire towns shut down by strikes and political unrest. And when you arrive in an unfamiliar town in the middle of the night, finding clean, comfortable accommodations can be impossible. Then why did I so eagerly agree to Vijay's proposal? I feel drawn to holy places, to places of pilgrimage. I have traveled pilgrimage routes throughout India. I have traveled north to Gangotri, 10,000 feet high in the Himalayas, where the river Ganges emerges from the glaciers. I have traveled south to Kanyakumari, on India's southernmost tip, where a ferry once shuttled me to a tiny island on which the Vivekananda Memorial stands. I stood shoulder to shoulder with 200,000 pilgrims who had converged on the holy city of Haridwar for the grand Kumbh Mela, an immense religious convocation held there every 12 years. I sought out sacred temples hidden in remote corners of the country. All these pilgrimage experiences blessed and enriched me beyond measure. Pilgrimage, known in Sanskrit as yatra, is for me one of Hinduism's richest, most inspiring practices. A yatra to a holy place is much more than religious sightseeing. It is also much more than an opportunity to atone for one's sins and accumulate grace. Pilgrimage is actually an archetypal journey that represents the sacred voyage of life, a journey of spiritual growth in which one seeks to discover Ishvara, God. No yatra is completed by merely arriving at a specified locale. In each of India's holy places stands a temple in which Ishvara is worshipped in a form uniquely associated with that place. Pilgrims' journeys are fulfilled only when they enter that temple to stand in Ishvara's presence and offer their worship. Thus, pilgrims are not just travelers, they are seekers on a sacred quest which is fulfilled by gaining darshan, sight, by seeing and being in the presence of Ishvara. All of us who are spiritual seekers are pilgrims in a way. We have embarked on a spiritual journey, the pilgrimage of life. And this yatra, like any other, is fulfilled only by darshan of Ishvara. But on the pilgrimage of life, instead of seeking within far-off temples, we seek to discover Ishvara's presence within ourselves. In temples fashioned of flesh and bone that are called by our given names, Ishvara's presence in our hearts is represented by the architecture of ancient temples constructed with a pattern resembling a square within a square within a square. The temple compound is circumscribed by a lofty wall, which is punctuated by towering gateways facing the 4 cardinal directions. Passing through the main gate, you would find the temple surrounded by a second inner wall. Smaller gateways lead through this inner wall to an enclosed courtyard, and in the middle of the courtyard stands the main temple building. Entering the temple, you would find yourself in a vast hall whose granite roof is supported by hundreds of pillars. Walking through the hall towards the inner reaches of the temple, you would find yourself in a smaller, pillared hall. Walking further into the growing darkness of the temple's interior, you would finally stand before the innermost chamber, the Garbha Griha, where the consecrated deity resides. By entering deeper and deeper into the temple, you finally gain darshan, standing in the deity's presence. In a similar way, when you turn your attention within, beyond your body, beyond your senses, beyond your mind and thoughts, you can discover Ishvara's presence within as the unborn, undying consciousness ceaselessly shining in the innermost core of your being. To extend this metaphor further, every yatra requires guidance, whether it is a pilgrimage to a remote temple or an inner pilgrimage seeking Ishvara's presence within. Pilgrims who don't know the route can become lost, frustrated, or even disheartened. Therefore, guidance is necessary. On any pilgrimage, the best guide is one who has been there before. Someone who has traveled the path and learned from experience. Someone whose primary agenda is to lead you to discover what they discovered themselves. I was happy that Vijay would guide me on our yatra to South India, and for my spiritual journey that began in California so many years ago. I am profoundly grateful to have been guided by my Guru, Swami Dayananda, who skillfully and lovingly led me to discover what I sought within. Returning to Rishikesh, to write this book has been part of my journey. Reading it has been part of yours. We have traveled together through these pages and shared a few adventures. Now, this segment of our journeys comes to an end. Our paths part here, perhaps to cross again, perhaps not. Yet the sacred pilgrimage of our lives continues as we pursue further spiritual and emotional growth, as we seek truth and fulfillment, and as we share what we have discovered with others. And with that, we conclude our reading of Roar of the Ganges. There is an afterword, as well as some further information and a section about the author, but we'll save that like dessert for tomorrow. For now, I thank you all for listening with me as we read through such a wonderful book written by Swami Tadatmanandaji. I thank him again for offering his prayers and best wishes through me to all of you, as he gave expressed permission for us to read this in our Sangha. Additionally, he has expressed permission for me to upload the recordings of all of the sessions that we read. So, Sky Guardian, being Swami Tadatmanandaji's foremost disciple, has volunteered to clip out the readings, and currently on the Yamsox Live's YouTube channel is a playlist where you can listen to all of the past 60-some sessions that we read. So it's a whole audiobook, essentially, there for you. And I suspect there will be one more episode left. And then we'll start a new book tomorrow. In Love at Ease, I believe. A book by Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And Liz, you ask, when is the free PDF coming out? You know, I don't know. I actually emailed him, but he didn't respond to that part of the email. He did respond to my email, but not to that part. So it will be a little mystery. But yes, supposedly he had mentioned in a previous email that that whole book will be made as a free PDF sometime soon. Whatever soon is. Sky Guardian, you share that he told you he doesn't know. He doesn't know? Okay, fair enough. One day. And Liz, you share that Sky is punching the phone, wanting to sleep. I could just read the final of Roar of the Ganges. That is true. But I did want to show the picture, as we read, of Swamiji signing the book for the last section. I think that would be really nice.